Hello, hello. Okay, so continuing on with another stream today. Um, Clients are all dealt with and happy, so now I can. I'm quite happy that this lighthouse is very close to being. Well, I reckon textured now. Really, I think that's the thing to do. So, let's hide the little man. We don't need that anymore. So, the main. Let's do textured view. Right, okay, so the main brickwork, as it were, has been textured. Actually, I might. Let's apply a different texture to the steps here. That part is actually going to be going into the ground, so we've got 5 textures on this. Let's add another one. If I just call this new, let's assign it, and let's just call this steps. Yeah. Okay. So this main building has basically got 6 materials. That's fine, because I'm going to just do textures for each one, to be honest. Okay, right. So I'm going to bring in some textures that I've already got, because I can texturize this really quickly. I'm going to select those steps. I'm going to unwrap them on their own. Actually, no, they can be stay together. Don't want that texture on there. Put a new UV map on there. Okay. I tend to do all my textures in 2K. Um, I'm gonna kind of just concentrate on, unless anybody comes in here and watches this, there's no point in me keep talking, to be honest. I'm going to I'm just going to continue doing this until someone comes in and maybe asks a question, because I seem to be just talking to a brick wall, I think, a lot of the time. What I usually like to do with the railings on these, actually, I don't know whether they're made out of metal or whether they're usually made out of wood. Can't imagine really anything on a lighthouse being made out of wood that's external, apart from, you know, the top part maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I've kind of assumed. I think they've always been made out of metal. Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they look like they're made out of metal most of the time. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're rusty. I mean, I tend to actually depict them as being sort of weathered, you know, not rusty as such. Some are painted red. Some are white, some are just left rusty. Some are nice and fancy, some are just literally plain. Yeah, I think they're generally made out of metal. I don't think they're made out of wood. Yeah, I think they're generally made out of metal. Again, there doesn't seem to be any sort of fixed standard design for lighthouse railings. You know, just as there isn't, sort of almost isn't two lighthouses designed the same. There could be some kind of mainland lighthouses that have got wooden things on them, but I think a structure that's, you know, in an island on a peninsula somewhere, or you know, it looks to me generally that they're made out of iron. So I'm gonna make this out of iron. This doesn't need to be UV wrapped because I'm going to use a procedural. Oh, all of my. Oh, that's a bummer. Huh. That's interesting. All of my group node tools have gone. This could be a good reason not to use 2.92 for production. Interesting. Let me create a new window. Of course, that just literally creates a window of the item that you're already doing. Okay. Very interesting. Interesting. Anyway, generally I sort of colour that kind of a brownish colour. Well, actually, some of them are black. Could make a fairly darkish colour, and then I'm going to add some of my favourite yeah, that looks like an iron-ish colour, doesn't it? Yeah, I usually increase the roughness to stop the bring down the specular, increase the metallic, and I've kind of made it a kind of a rusty metal colour. And then add the grunge node, which of course we can only see in this mode. a bit of grunge on there. Yeah, that looks good. Don't really want to overdo that. Of course, we see the effect of the node grunge, but of course, to get the full effect, we actually need to put it into rendered view. Right, so if we pick the roof, that's going to be an easy one to do. UV, smart UV project. Okay, that's better. I think we need at least a seam down the middle, I think. Didn't change the UV too much. Interesting. Tiles, what kind of tiles? Let's just use a plain relatively small tile, I think would be suitable. I'm going to keep this relatively simple because I think we might need a lot. Can I just look in? There we go. What if we do a cylinder projection? No. That kind of works. It's kind of interesting. What if I take that away, clear that seam, seam is there. So what is that? What is that? Oh, right. Where is that? Hmm. What if we select the roof? I'm going to try something different for a change. Let's select project from view. That might or might not give us... no. That makes it look really weird. Round roofs are the hardest thing to try and unwrap. If we use a straightforward unwrap, that just produces the most weirdest. Let's try all of them. Let's just reset. No, surely not. Really? Doesn't look right, but who's going to care when the thing is like 40 meters up in the air? Yeah, well, not 40 meters, maybe 20 to 30 meters up in the air. Don't think anyone's going to really care what that looks like. It looks weird. Yeah. Okay, that is weird. Yeah. Can't use that. Don't really understand what that's doing. Yeah, I don't think that's good. Right, so follow active quads. That's not too bad. In fact, that actually doesn't look bad at all, considering. It's not, yeah. If I scale that, I don't know why, I might be able to get like one tile on the edge. Hey, that doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look fantastic, but it also doesn't look too bad. It's probably the best kind of cone UV unwrapping I've ever done. It's ever looked half decent. My goodness. Okay, so let's deselect that. Let's select the wood area. Now I'm going to keep this kind of fairly. Let's check reference images. Again, it's just a free-for-all as to you know, generally white, but then they're always white, so it's kind of different. Some are painted yellow, some are painted black. Most seem to be white. Yeah, I guess. Some are just pure glass. Okay. Looks like some are made of concrete. So, I mean, again, it's just a free-for-all as to what exactly. So let's get rid of this. Let's unpack that. Let's get some wood in there. I think it would look nice with sort of wooden planks. I guess white wood. Painted. That looks nice, actually. I like it, but it's got some sort of funny. I think some of it's actually round the wrong way, isn't it? So I think we need a seam in there. Okay, so let's select that again and let's unwrap. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I think that I'm wondering whether it should really just use a sort of a plain. Okay, let's just see if I've got a. There we go. Let's use that instead. Thought it might be nice with some sort of planks, but I think that could just be pushing things a little bit too. Let's just do it old wood. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, so it's kind of painted, but it's got some markings on it, which is, yeah, okay, I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's kind of just like rough wood. Glass, I'm not going to put anything on there because I can do that in Second Life. Let's bring the roughness up on that. I find adding metallic to any I don't like really shiny textures on stuff. I just think it looks so false, you know. Like life is not great big shiny unless you've painted something, you know, high gloss. It's not really high glossy, is it? You know, you don't want something to look too perfect, I don't think. Okay, I might actually use the same texture for the railing. This hasn't got a texture at the moment, so I might use the same texture as the railing up the top. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, any questions? Nope. Nope questions. No one watching and no questions, so I've got nothing to worry about. I can say what I want. Okay, I'm just going to continue on with this. I will waffle on and so we've got the outer brick, we've got the railings, we have the roof, we've got the woodwork, glass, not really bothered. This is going to be the next one. So the lamp is one texture and then the glass is another one, and I have a glass Fresnel lens that I'm going to use for this. So we deselect that, select the lamp, deselect the lamp. Right, here we go. I don't think that that's correct, that UV, because that doesn't seem to include everything. So anyway, I'm not going to use, I only need to really do a deselect, let's do the lens, let's do UVs for that. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I'm going to bring in this lens, Fresnel lens texture. Okay, so there we go. So just lining up the UVs with the texture. Okay, that looks good. Right, the lamp, let's deselect and select the lamp. I'm going to make it shiny. I'm going to make it like brass. There you go. Doesn't need to be anything fantastic. Just, yeah, that's fine. The bulb on the inside, can't remember if that had a, doesn't really matter anyway, because the actual lamp bulb doesn't really need I could put a material on there. It doesn't make any difference because it's going to be changed anyway in Second Life. Don't need to waste too much time actually designing this as a bulb. Okay, bulb's done, the lamp, lens, housing, the lens is done, the glass has just got a material on it, the upper wood is done, the railing is done, the main lighthouse building is done, the railing down here is the same texture as this texture, which is fine. I might create a, so this glass doesn't have a window. Okay, does it need to have a texture? There's 3 of them, they could all be the same. What's annoying me is the stairs. Pavement. Ah, now it's working. Okay. I don't know why that wasn't working earlier. Okay, so let's just try and get that to line up, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's do something like that. Okay, that looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. It's just paving stones, basically. Okay, I don't know why that wasn't working earlier. I am going to save this as a different, because we're making major changes. Okay. Let's take that down, roughness, and take the specular off. Give it a bit of extra texture. Okay, these little side windows, I don't think they're any, again, I don't think there's anything, I mean, again, they're just plain windows a lot of the time. The outside brickwork tends to be the same as the main building. A lot of the time, I've actually got them going around the wrong way. They're very often actually indented, not external. Well, saying that, no. There's no standard. There is no standard for lighthouses. But the majority of them do actually seem to be inset rather than I've got them external. So, but they're not all like that. No, they're not all like that at all. Some of them are outside. So again, there's nothing. Again, I might keep this actually quite simple. I think what I'll do is, let's just say we're going to call this. So the first of all, the whole thing will be the first material. Let's just call this masonry. Okay, and let's keep this glass. Let's make that, we've already got glass, so let's just keep it like that. Ah, I didn't assign it, did I? Yeah, now it's assigned. Again, I think, you know, let's keep it simple. Glass, I'm just going to keep that as it is, and then the masonry, actually, why don't I just use brickwork? Why not just keep it the same? Yeah, don't make it different. So let's highlight that, highlight that, highlight that last one, Control L, and materials. I might do the same for this actually. Let's create a material. I'm just going to call this brickwork. Let's keep it all the same. Do the door differently, I think, for sure. Let me see if I can keep up with the amount of questions I'm being asked. Well, there you go. No questions. Surprise, surprise. Let's unwrap this. I want this to be kind of a actually. Why don't I keep this? Yeah, let's break it up. Okay, so I'll probably keep those the same. I think the handle I want to make. So let's create a material. That's going to be the main material, and that's going to be door. I'm just going to make that a pretty plain metal door, and I want to keep the handle separate really. Okay, that's kind of select. Okay. Let's call that handle and lock. Delete that face. Don't need extra faces really. Delete that face. Right, now we're good. Okay. So we've got two materials for this one. Door. I want the door to be kind of rusty. Let's start off with a kind of a darkish brown, yeah, something like that. Now I think the handle and lock. Slightly different. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. It's not much of a sun, is it? Ah, that's because it's a point light. Duh. Way too bright, way too bright, way too bright. I don't know why they put the sunlight so high. Okay, that's beginning to look. You would normally have this facing away from the sea, the door. You don't really have it facing the sea, so the sun would really be coming from this angle. This angle more. I might actually put another light. A little bit this way, fill light. Yeah, gives it a bit of a 3D look. I will lower that one light down a bit. I only want it to provide a bit of fill light really. There we go. We got some nice ambient occlusion there. Too much specular on that one. Definitely need to be a bit rougher. Specular right down. Yeah. So we've got a nice bit of shadow going on there. We've got, yeah. So we've got a nice bit of shadow. Looks good. I like it. I like it. I like it. This light needs to be down slightly even more. I don't really want it provide, yeah, I just want it to provide a little bit of fill-in light really. Yeah, there we go. That's probably better. So the main light will be from this side with shadow. Okay, like it. I like it. I might just so I've saved this. Let's select everything. I might just bring this into the beta grid one more time just to make sure that there are no more cock-ups basically. No, I haven't burnt any, I haven't baked any textures on this, so not going to do this on one texture because it will look absolutely awful. It will look really bad. I've done this before on big builds and it just doesn't work. I'm going to export this out. We're on G. Right, let's just bring this in to the beta grid. To G. course, it'll bring in the textures that I've got textures applied to, as in I've imported textures and put them into the BSDF, but it won't bring anything procedural texturing, so it ain't gonna do that. Don't need. Oh, why not? Let's just apply physics. God, this has gone horrendously slow for some reason. And now it looks like it's crashed out. I'm on the beta grid, so it's not surprising. Okay, this is Lighthouse 03, 02G, right. Okay. Okay, let's not upload textures because it's complaining probably because I've not baked anything, so okay, side by side, let's compare. Oh yeah, the door immediately. The door looks good. Yeah, I like the door. It looks like a proper door now, and it will do when it's got a proper texture on it. Yeah. Okay, this is looking very good. Let's select. Let me just make sure that, because where I went wrong before with the lighthouse that I did before was the glass and the inside. Okay, this is looking much better. Yep. So there's the lens and the glass, and then on the inside is the bulb. So it's fine. The bulb is good, and then yep, looking good. Yeah, so I can't see any gaps down that way. No one's really going to be. Well, is anyone going to be looking up? Not that they're going to notice, I don't think, anyway. I think that's fine. It's looking good. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to go up the stairs, because I did actually mess around with the physics on this other model. It cost a lot of money. I mean, we're on the beta grid, so it doesn't really matter. But it's 31. I mean, that's not a lot, really. Physics on here, you see all blue. I'm not going to be able to climb up there. Convert it to prim, and hey presto, we can climb up. Ooh, land impact went up to 91. Okay, but you know, I'm going to be doing this slightly different when it's going to be a real working model. This is just a fake for show kind of model, really. Yeah, looks good. Happy with that. Um, so now I'm going to bake textures because I think this lighthouse is now finished. I'm happy with how it's looking. I'm kind of debating whether I should bake this all onto one or not. I tend to find that the textures come out really bad when you bake it all onto one, you know, even if it is a 2K texture. It never really looks brilliant. I think I'll do it onto different. Right, so I'm going to put all these onto one texture because that should be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's absolutely perfect. Do 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 do. I'm going to separate the glass. I think that would be a separate. I'm going to separate it by selection. Right. Let's create a new UV. Okay, got a new UV. I'm going to select all of that, create a new material. I'm going to call it main lighthouse bake. So we've got a new UV map. have at least something in between each of the islands, because otherwise you start getting weird texturing. Bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, 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 ba, dam, ba, dam. Ba, ba, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam. Right, so I've separated the glass from the main structure, because then I don't have to worry about it having a specific texture. It's got a material, but it doesn't need a texture. The main building I have UV unwrapped, given it a texture to bake to. Let's select those three. They got brickwork. Don't really need to worry about those. Create this one as its own texture. Let's give it another UV. Give it a new texture. Reading. That will be fine. Railing, railing. It's got its own UV map. Let's pick up this other railing. I might be able to get the two of those actually on the same. Yeah. Okay. That is fine. Let's give it that UV. It's got that UV. That's got that UV. Okay, and let's go into the same bake, texture bake. Yeah, that's fine. That's unwrapped fine. Door. Give it a new UV. Let's give it a new texture to bake to. And let's call this door bake. Let's unwrap that. It's fine. It's going to be a grungy. Might as well fill up that space. Just flip those. That would be good. Okay, that's got its own UV. That's going there. That's fine. Right, so for each of these, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. I'm going to bake all that to the same. Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's going to be fine for the main building, really. UV. Don't want that going there. I don't know. Ah, yeah. Don't really want that going to the same. So let's put a new texture in. New texture. Let's call these side windows. Side windows. Okay. We got the right one. Okay. We're gonna go around on there. Copy that. Copy there. Okay. Transfer UV map. Bada bing. There we go. Okay. Yep. Yep. Right. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, we're good. We have everything done for this railing. The bottom railing, the door, this archway. Let's create a new texture for that. Let's call it door arch. Door arch, okay. Brickwork, yep, that's fine. So it's got its own UV. Nearly there, people, we're nearly there. Okay, let's select the light. Doesn't need anything. The lighthouse lamp. Let's. Ooh, that ain't good. Let's select the lighthouse lamp. Blink. There we go. Right, two textures. Let's create a texture bake. New. Let's call it lamp lens housing. Create a new UV. Okay, let's do a smart UV project. Ooh, perfect. Perfect. Okay, that's looking good. So we've got that is highlighted, and we want to copy that over to there so that it bakes onto the same texture. This is going to be one hell of a complicated there's several textures on here, quite a lot of textures. The lamp that's going on the inside doesn't really need it doesn't really need a texture at all. As long as it's got a material assigned to it, it doesn't need anything in Second Life, because I'm going to be adding that. So let's go through everything here. Just check and double check. Okay, door. Door, we've got door arch, and we've got that, and we've got UV map, that's correct. We've got lamp bulb, we don't really care about that. We've got the 2 light sources which are going to give ambient occlusion and shadow detail. The housing lamp which we've just done, got this UV map, and the 2 materials have a texture to bake to. That's correct. Main lighthouse has its UV selected. The textures, brickwork going to the right. That's not correct, is it? The brickwork needs to be going to the main lighthouse bake. Okay. The red band, main lighthouse bake. The roof, main lighthouse bake. Yep. And that's correct. That's all good. We've got the glass, which has got a material. Okay. That doesn't really need a material to bake to. Why is that causing a problem? Okay, now we've got the railings. The railing is being baked to the railing texture. We're on the right UVs. There is only one, so that's fine. And the same goes for the bottom railing. Goes UV, yep, and it's baking to the right texture. That's correct. And the windows. The windows is the only thing that doesn't have I might just remove those from... Oh! Hey? Okay, I think we're good to go. Right, so we've got everything going to the right UVs, the right textures. Let's do a bake and see where that gets us. Yep, we're good. I think we're going to get some error messages somehow because, yeah, I think we're going to anyway. So yeah, okay. Okay, let's go for it. See if anybody else is building anything around this sim. There's quite a few people here. Got somebody that seems to be suspended in the sky. for some reason. Kind of odd. Don't know why you'd want to do that. We've got a noob. We have a noob. God, they're 13 years old and they're still using... Oh, they've just added a head. Okay, I think. But they're still using the noob avatar. They're kitted out quite nicely, but they're using the duck feet avatar rather than a mesh avatar. Anybody else? Oh, there is. What is this? This looks like a Masonic emblem of some sort. There is no religion higher than truth. Oh yeah, now I've heard that before. Where have I heard that? Theosophical Society, I think. Interesting. Looks like somebody's made that in mesh somehow. I bet that's high land impact. Oh. Of course it's on a different sim, I can't select it. It's always nice to go nosing around other people's things. See what other people are building. I'm always intrigued. This is obviously the person here. They're making a piece of jewellery with that on it. It's interesting. Yeah, so they're actually wearing it. So this didn't bake correctly. Why didn't you bake correctly? Oh, mainly because the brickwork doesn't have a... Yeah, I thought this might create an error. Didn't think it would bake correctly, but the rest of it has done, so it's just the main brickwork that hasn't baked itself, so everything else has. So let's do that again. It's encouraging. There we go, no errors, so that's all it was. I'm always intrigued. How is it that somebody watching your channel has got 6.3 thousand followers and yet not one video? How does that happen? I mean, I don't really, there's no information. No information whatsoever, and yet you've got 6.3 thousand followers. and you've got nothing. There's no about information. There's no... I don't know. There's some funny things go on in Twitch that I just don't understand. Okay, we now have a bake, which looks rather good in Blender. We now have a bake, and it looks good to me. Yeah, that looks good actually. Not like the crappy bake I got before with my previous... Okay, let's save that. Save. Okay. Right, let's do the railings. Railings, we've got the right UV selected, we have the texture selected, and we have the image that we're going to bake to selected. That's correct. Okay, let's bake those on. Bake. No errors, fantastic. Shouldn't take too long because there's only one. Sometimes with see, and this account has got 6.3 thousand followers, and yet it was created on the December 26th. How does that happen? I don't understand how this happens. Anyway, bear with me 1 minute. Okay, back again, back again, back again. Okay, this is baked. I like it. I like it, I like it. Okay, let's just save that texture. Right, so we've got the main building. Let's do the door. Let's copy that bake texture over to the handle. Okay, we've got a UV, we've got the right bake. Okay. I like doing procedural texturing. If you can get it to work correctly, it works really, really well, and you can add all sorts of things to it. I think it just looks really good. And I love that ambient grunge node, because most of the stuff that I produce doesn't use, very rarely uses plain straightforward texturing. I always like to add, you know, grunge to stuff. Okay, how are we doing? We're doing textures taking a little bit longer. The only other thing I need to do now is these little window portal thingies, and then the lens, and then we're pretty much there. I'm going to delete that. Okay. I always find it's quite strange how a texture that you would think is really complicated, and so, like I've just baked a texture that's got 5 different materials on there, and yet I've got something that's only got 2 materials, and yet it's taking a lot longer to bake. It's really quite weird. Wow, I've got a good upload speed today. I've got 6.2k. Seems to fluctuate between 6.2 and 6.7k upload. That is pretty darn good. I can actually go up to 18k upload. So I have got very fast internet. Let's switch over to Second Life a minute. Let's go flying around. Do 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 do. So I can still, even from the right to this edge of the sim, I can still see the lighthouse. That's pretty impressive. God, there's quite a few people here today. More than I've seen before. You've got 2, 3, 4, and me. That's 5. How are we doing? 60% we're done. It's interesting, isn't it? Interesting. It's a door. It's not the smallest part, but it's nearer the bottom of the list of items that, and yet there's an awful lot of processing going into baking this texture for the door. There's only 2 materials. It's interesting. I mean, okay, it's a procedural materials, but I mean, even so. Not difficult, really. And Blender turns around and says, yeah, you try it then. This is my alt avatar, Susie Yao. She gets a lot of attention in Second Life. She gets a lot of attention, even though now she's got a mesh body, but before she still had the old style, you know, original body. But because I made my own skin and you know, makeup and all that kind of thing, I mean, she looks stunning compared to an awful lot of other avatars in Second Life. And she always just gets attention. Everywhere she goes, she gets attention. I remember once she was in a sim, and it's a sim that I go to quite often called Hypnotic, which is just, you know, I just go there because I like the music, and I just plonk, you know, Susie somewhere and sit her on a bench near a tree or something like that and just listen to the music, because it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant streaming music, and the amount of attention she gets just while sitting there is quite amazing. And I remember one time she had this character come up and start talking to her and was telling me effectively or her, you know, where he was from and all this kind of thing, and he was like, you know, you could just see it's the same old pattern of behavior with these people, and you know, they try to find out where you are and where you live, and you know, all this sort of usual BS really. And then because I very politely said I don't need any money for anything, and they then started turning around and telling me that they had millions of lindens, and you know, I've passed up a good opportunity because I didn't, you know. And it was just like, really, you know, we're talking a 3D world here. This is a virtual world. It's like, go away, get a life. And it seemed like this guy got really upset, you know, because basically Susie had turned him down. And I thought, crumbs, I wonder what this person's like in real life. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Of course, the inside is not being baked, but yeah, I like the lock. I love the lock, actually. It's pretty neat. Save that texture. Okay. Texture that we need to do now. Okay, the next one is actually the last one, which is the lighthouse lamp. The bake. So let's just make sure we've got the right UV. We have got the correct texture that we're going to bake to. Let's change that over. Brilliant. And then that's it. We are done. Let's bake. Boink. In order to get this level of confidence with Blender Alpha, I've done a massive amount of building, and well, I think so anyway. I've done a huge amount of building and baking and pulling my hair out and getting upset and getting really irate and all the rest of it, baking textures and such like. And I used to follow so many tutorials on YouTube, and I used to get really irritated by how these people that were trying to teach you to bake textures and such like, multi-textures and all of those kind of things, and I just used to find it so irritating because it never really worked how they always kept saying it was going to work. And it really has just been perseverance. it really has been perseverance and an awful lot of patience, and just testing all the time, continuing to just keep trying to figure out, you know, how stuff works. And that's all you can do. At the end of the day, that's all you can do. You know, you just have to keep trying. And I do find it quite frustrating how an awful lot of these people who teach tutorials for things like Blender, they go way too fast. You know, they should really go. I mean, I'm finding with some of the tutorials that I follow, even now, how many years later, I have to slow them down to a quarter of their speed, to 25% speed, in order to just keep up with what they're saying. I do find it quite irritating. I know they want you to buy their courses and all the rest of it, and then people complain because they go too slow. So you can't really win. But it is really, I find, with Blender, it's a case of having to play. And I know other people have said much the same thing, but it never really sunk in with me until I did it. And then I began to learn. I kept thinking, all right, I'm going to make some. What do I want to make? I'm going to start designing something, you know. It doesn't really matter what it is. You know, just pick something. So I can't remember what was the first things I started making. I think, like most people, you tend to sort of jump in the deep end, and then you get out of your depth, and then you give up because you just think, oh, this is too, you know, too difficult, blah blah blah. And I don't know quite how I can find out. I suppose I can. Yeah. I mean, some of the first things I ever made was a balloon. You know, it's like yeah, okay, that must be really difficult. But I mean, you know, when you're first starting out, it is. Oh yeah, poison bottle. Wow, yeah, these were things that I made right in the very beginning. Wow, I must open these things up. It's actually quite interesting. There's a project that I tried doing that don't ever know what really happened to that. Blood spatter. I made blood spatters. How long ago was that? I don't know. Bottles, bullets, candle holder, Chinese chair. I mean, that was a really simple build. Yeah, very simple. I like the textures on that though. They were really good. I tried several times. I've always been fascinated with building houses, actually, in Second Life, and I spent a long time going to in-world universities to try and learn how to get my head around the physics. And I remember it. I think it was. I don't know how long ago it was, really. The date on this is actually incorrect because this has been restored, but it was quite a long time ago. And I can remember going on these courses trying to learn how to make houses in Second Life with Blender, and I just could not get the hang of it. I really couldn't get the hang of it at all. And it's really only in the last few years that I've managed to actually, you know, figure out how to do it properly. But I've made all sorts of stuff. I mean, you know, cottage with fences, clocks, a cube with holes. I actually got commissioned in Second Life in the very early days to design. It was a hollow cube. It was like a solid, you know, thing, but it had to have holes in it. And of course, you know, they were designing something and they couldn't do it, and I managed to do it. And I got paid. I remember I got paid quite a lot of money for that. Linden money, but you know, Diamond ring I've made cups, I've made fabric, fairy wings, fire pit, golden picture frame, gondola, Greek temple. Now there's something that I was actually really proud of. I made a Greek temple, but I also made a Greek temple ruins, and I've got a directory there that says mesh building tests. Yeah, that's going back quite a way. I'll have to open up some of these and have a good old laugh. It's actually quite amazing. Metal crate, mini skirt, mushroom, necklace chain, plant pots, plates. Some of this stuff I have no idea. A soft sofa, spoon, steampunk. Oh no, this is fairly recently. Steampunk. I made a steampunk box many years ago. Yeah. Wine barrel. Made all sorts. This is still baking a texture. This is for the lens housing, so. Churches. I've got several churches, Gothic arches. I've made signs. All sorts. Just pick something simple. Start off with a cup or a bowl or something along those lines, and literally just make it, and just try to make it, you know, just get the shape. Just play around with getting the shape. Play around with moving vertices, loop cuts, you know. It is interesting. There are, I think, fundamental things that you need to understand and that you need to use regularly in Blender, which you are not taught about in courses. And I think that was the biggest struggle I had when I first started learning Blender in the beginning, was trying to get my head around what on earth is scaling and you know, correcting rotation and scale, for instance, because that just screws with your head, and you move and resize things, and you don't understand that you have to actually reset the rotation and scale when you know, resize things in oh, that's interesting. Oh, stupid. Of course, I've done the classic bake a texture against something that's actually inside something else. So I need to change what do I need to change? There's something I need to change here. Oh, I've done this before. Let's there's something I need to do with this, isn't there? And I can't remember. Blend mode, opaque. Okay, let's just grab that and move it. Okay, and then let's bake it now again. I've done this so many times. can't remember exactly what it is. There is a setting that you have to do that will allow something on the inside of another mesh to bake correctly, and I can't remember what it's called. I really can't remember. It's the same situation I had baking a texture with a physics object around the outside and then just hiding the physics and not realizing that it actually still has an effect on the object on the inside. And, yeah, but I really believe that I think a lot of people who teach Blender need to teach people kind of the fundamentals of things that you need to be aware of. You know, I haven't seen a tutorial. There is always a tutorial that tells you that, you know, oh, if you want to do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. But they don't tell you why you need to learn how to do that. They just say, you know, press this, do that, do this, pull that over there, you know, blah blah blah, and but they, you know, as I say, they don't actually tell you why you need to do it. And I think it's a kind of a fundamental failure for a lot of teachers. I can understand if they say, you know, they're not going to specifically, and some of them do this, they say, you know, there is an assumption that you know at least some things, you know, the fundamentals of Blender. But I haven't really seen anyone say this is what you need to know. You know, these are things that you will use a lot in Blender and you need to know how to do it. Two ways of doing things. When you're uploading mesh with textures applied to them, you can either upload the mesh on its own and worry about things like the physics and upload the textures separately. I tend to do that on large builds, or you can do it at the same time in Second Life. You can say upload all the textures associated with this mesh and, you know, then upload it, but it doesn't always work. I've found that it doesn't always work. So on the larger builds, very often you're better off to upload the mesh, worry about the physics, which I'm obviously not in this case worried about the physics at all on this. And then upload the textures separately and apply them in world. It doesn't really make an awful lot of difference, really. 52%. Do we have anyone following? I think there was a bit of yeah, there was. We've had a bit of a blip. I think this is potentially Twitch again having problems. Twitch seems to be having a lot of problems recently. I do wonder actually whether it's because of the amount of people that are, obviously with the world in the situation it is at the moment. I think there's just, an overload. There's just too much going on and a reliance on the internet now, and it's just not able to cope. I think these systems and services are just struggling to cope with. It's all very interesting. Okay, we're nearly done on this texture. We're nearly done. 96%. And then we will upload, apply the textures in world and just see that everything is working. I notice when we pull away, yeah, there we go. We got a nice texture on there. Perfect. Save. There we go. So I think in all we've got about 5 textures, 4 or 5 textures. So, alright, let's knock that back to where it was. That's basically it. Got a nice brushed kind of copper. Very nice. These textures have come out rather well, actually. Very happy with them. Okay, let's export this out. Now that we've finished, let's save. And oh, actually, I'm gonna do the textures separately. I'm not going to. Oh, no, of course I can't do that, can I? Duh. I can't do that because it's using the wrong UV. So I need to switch over to this UV. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Brickwork. The red. Okay, that's fine. We need to. Yeah, we've got the right UV. Okay, that's fine. So we need to just go through and apply each texture bake now and make sure that it's come out okay. That's fine. The wooden bit. Oh yeah, looks good. Looks good. And then we've got the steps. It is nice to see when it comes out right. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Perfect. That is looking good. That's got some nice shadowing. Gives it character. I think I've screwed up there, haven't I? Oh no, I haven't. Yeah, I have. I've screwed up there. think I've screwed up there. I'm going to take that material off of there. I'm going to take the materials off of there. I should have really created a new material for them. Doesn't matter. They're only small anyway, so... Okay, door. Let's put the door on. And the door. That looks good. I like the shadow on that. That's pretty neat. Door handle. How come the door handle's all screwed up? Ah, I know why, because I'm not using the right UV. There we go. There we go. I like it. I like it. Okay. One left is the lighthouse lamp. Let's apply texture to that one. Of course, it's all screwed up because we're using the wrong UV. Let's use the right UV. And we need to change that for the lamp. There we go. Looking good. I like it. I like the ambient occlusion. I like the shadowing. Of course, these are going to be transparent, semi-transparent. These textures. So. Right. I'm just going to correct this. I'm going to just create a material for this so that I can put something on it when... so let's create a new one for that as well. Let's just see whether that's the glass. Let's invert the selection and assign this to it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really bothered about these things. So if I select that and that last, Control L, apply the materials. The thing is, I'm not convinced that that's applying the materials correctly. Glass, invert. No, it isn't. Ha. Doesn't matter, I can do this manually. These are only small minor details. Once you're in Second Life and you select one material, they're all selected. Let's invert that selection and apply. Assign that material to that. That's fine. Okay, everything else I'm happy with. Select that whole thing, make that the root. Yep, we've got everything selected. We've applied the material, bakes. Let's save this whole thing and export out as a Collada file. We're on 02G and we want to make it that. 11 objects. Okay, let's go over to Second Life. Let's go to Second Life and see what it looks like in the beta with the textures. I think it's going to look pretty cool, actually. Now, this ended up being 91 land impact, but then this is not the working model. This needs to be just fake. So if I go upload mesh, Lighthouse 2G, open. Yeah, okay. I'm going to bring that down quite a lot. Come on. Wow, this is slow. I think this is because of this beta sim. Come on. Oh, come on. Right, I'm going to call this Lighthouse O2G. Let's apply a physics medium. Physics medium is fine. Yeah, I think the beta grid's having a bit of a problem. I think Twitch is having a problem. Everyone's having a problem. Right, upload. Let's include the textures. See what it does. I don't think it will load them all, but we can do them manually anyway. Yeah, it's going to have a go at loading them. That's something at least. Let's see what that's going to cost. A lot. It's a good job it's a beta grid. Okay. Oh, land impact. Okay, that's not bad. $146. Okay, let's upload it. It's going to look good, I think, with the textures applied to it. It will give it some proper character instead of it just being... I've taken my time with this build. I didn't really want to rush. Oh yeah, that looks good. That is looking good. Neat, very neat. I think the railing's probably a little bit too dark. It doesn't matter. I mean, there are... Oh, you know what? I didn't apply that correctly, did I? I must remember that before I load it up to the proper grid. I didn't do the railings. I didn't apply the textures for the railings correctly. I can add that manually though. Just change it there. Yeah, I didn't do that correctly. That's fine. So I'm going to select face, turn off the physics. Select that. We can just give it, I don't know, a dark kind of colour. Transparency. Like so. Ooh, looking good. Looking good. Okay, she is breaking up a bit when you move away, so I might need to do the level of detail a little bit better. So let's select this one, select face, that is correct, and let's apply a bit of transparency to that. Let's see what that looks like, because we want to see the light on the inside. This one, we're going to go full bright. Let's go yellow. We want this to glow quite a lot. We want it to have a light capability, and the intensity is going to be pretty high as it's going to go. Radius, we want that to be fairly high, so let's say 20 meters. Fall off about 5. Oh, we can only go up to 2. Okay, so that's I think this texture needs to be possibly greeny, green, that colour. Yeah, there we go. We could even go grey. Select this one. The copper, I think, needs to go a bit darker. There we go, that's fine. I think this needs to come down a bit more. There we go. This should have selected all of them. Maybe not. Okay, doesn't matter. I can copy that around anyway. So let's make that. Let's make it a dark. I'll just leave it grey. I think that I have a no, okay, let's just leave that. Let's leave that one light grey. There we go, that's fine. Light grey outside. Ooh, dark grey. Yeah, they look good. And I suspect we can probably just do that for that. I mean, you know, it doesn't need to be anything spectacular. And it looks a bit like a weathered lighthouse. Yeah, I need to increase the level of detail a bit. So, yeah, okay. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. I like the door. I like the rust on the door. I like the fact that it's, you know, aged looking. Oh no! I love it. Of course, I just hid. I keep doing this. Of course, I've got the footprints. The footprints of the scale. Oh god, that's actually quite funny. Okay. Let's select. Yeah, so we've got that. Let's just. We can make it full bright. How does that look full bright? Yeah, that looks better actually. That looks better. So at night. I've got light, but we need to simulate the actual beam. The light itself is working, but of course it's not coming through. It's not coming through here. Why has it got a texture? Oh yeah, okay. That's fine. This is why you upload things to a beta grid, so that you can you know, figure out how these things are holding together. Yeah. That is too bright, so maybe a full bright on a grey. Yeah, there we go, that's better. That's better, that looks a little bit more. I like it. I think this is going to go down really well. So there are a few things that I need to do. I need to bring in the texture for the railings, which is a failure of mine. Kind of wondering whether I really need to put this light bulb on the inside, but anyway. I think it looks pretty good. Let's look at it from a distance. It will really only ever be looked at from a distance, so I'm not that bothered, like, unless somebody wants to go up close to it. I'm not really that bothered. It's something, yeah, okay, that looks good. So it's going to kind of be seen, yeah, from that kind of distance. I need to increase the level of detail on these, and in fact I might even make these windows a bit bigger. I think they're a little bit too small, but I like it. It looks good. Texture looks fine. What's the land impact of this? 94, so it is around 90. I don't think I'm going to get around that. I mean, it is a big model. It is very big. If I select linked, it's actually 32 meters, nearly 33 meters high. So, you know, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Okay, I'm going to call it a day because I've spent nearly 3 hours streaming today. And I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow. So, yeah. This is pretty much done. I'm actually really happy that this is pretty much done. I need to rebake the textures again. And get rid of get rid of these foot marks. That's quite interesting how that happened again. But yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. I'm happy with actually how this has turned out. Very happy. Let's delete that. Let's take a copy of that because I've now got a backup copy. It's because I've recently... Come on. Right, so objects, let's grab all of those and push them into... lighthouse, there we go. Boink. There we go. Okay, so I've saved that in there. I can now play around with it, and I will play around with it still at some point, because before you start loading, uploading this kind of stuff, I think the windows are too small now that I think about it. I think the door, the entrance is in proportion. I think the windows are too small. So, you know, you have to do this on the beta grid to make sure that you iron out all the problems, because this would end up costing quite a lot of money to keep re-uploading this all the time. Can I go up the steps? I mean, I did do think a medium physics. I let Second Life. I just intrigued. Yeah, I can actually go up the steps. It's pretty neat. Pretty neat. I like it. I like the way it's turned out. I like the ambient occlusion and the grunge on there. You know, it looks like grime. It looks weathered. I might do things like put a keyhole in there, just to make it, give it a little bit more authenticity. And but yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm quite pleased with that. We're nearly there. You know, I think sometimes you can be maybe a little bit over the top with some of this stuff, but I like to get it right, because if I'm going to bring it into Second Life, there's the opportunity to maybe sell it. Not only is it a commissioned piece, but also that I can sell it in world. I'm wondering actually whether I should do that with a lot of my stuff. I might be able to earn some money on it. But anyway, the of course I didn't really look close enough at this texture here to see the two feet, and that's because of this guy. Yeah, you have to, you can't just hide them. You have to actually physically move the model out of the way. So, yeah, I didn't apply the texture to the railing. Look, it's disconnected. That's why it didn't come through correctly. So it's applied on that one, and then of course I need to switch the UV map around, and then I've got the proper baked texture for the railing, which looks a lot better than... Yeah, I've got proper texture on that. Let's do the UV for that one, and hey presto, we've now got a proper... So neat. I just love Blender. I really love working in Blender. I love it. Right, let's save this as H. And I will work on that another day. Okay, I mean, I've spent nearly 3 hours on this particular stream with this model, which is a very large model. It's 32 meters high, which I suppose in old money is something like 90 odd feet. I was going to work on the Victorian house, but I might leave that till tomorrow. Actually, I'm not going to stream anymore now on this, because I've done quite a lot of streaming with regard to this lighthouse, and I'm very happy with how this has turned out. A stroke of luck on the way that that's turned out there. Absolutely excellent. Very nice. Okay, I think that's probably about it. How many questions have we got today? Oh look, none. If anyone's got any, I mean, I'm going to actually stop the stream soon, so if anyone's got any questions they want to ask about anything, then by all means ask. But I've just kind of finished, for anyone that's just come on, I've just kind of finished this lighthouse. I've got some little tiny tweaks to do, and I think I'm going to resize these windows in the site, because when I bring the model in world, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all. And that's probably about it. I mean, I'm very happy with the way this looks. So don't think there's really anything else. I've saved this. Yeah. Okay, so if I now open the next stream I'm going to do will be the Victorian house. This particular one. I'm going to be cutting the window holes through the walls, because obviously this is going to be a working house, so the physics needs to be there. It needs to look like it can be lived in and and rented in Second Life. So it needs to be really working, and I'm going to be doing that on my next stream. Getting all the windows done. In fact, actually, do you know what? The other day I was quite surprised at how accurate I'd got this. I saw a house that looked almost identical to this the other day, and it was in a very posh area in a small village in rural Oxfordshire, and so I thought it was quite. And what I liked, actually, and I might add this, it had pillars. So it had a door that looked, a doorway very similar to this, and then it had two pillars that were very close to the door surround, the brickwork. They didn't seem to do anything, actually. They weren't supporting a canopy or anything. They were just two pillars that just had a square block on the top of them. But it did look more posh, if that's if that can be a thing. So I might add, I mean, they were very simple pillars, they just like had a small bit of detail on the bottom, and then it was just a straight pillar and a small bit of detail on the top, and then it just looked like a slab. It was just like a slab that went on the top of the pillar, and I mean, it was just literally plonked right in front, two of them on each side on the door. So I might do that. I've done the interior door and frame, so I need to cut holes in the interior walls to put those doors in. I might design a very simple fireplace for the downstairs rooms down here. I might do smaller ones for upstairs, just to give it that kind of look, the kind of authentic look. The basement I'm going to keep completely empty and free. I don't think I'm going to change anything there. And then after that, it's really down to texturing, applying materials and textures. Yeah, I've put the interior walls in already, that's right. And I've divided, I think one of the upstairs rooms has got, this side has got two small rooms and then one large room over here. So, and then I need to try out some stairs. I've already made stairs, but I need to bring them in. I need to bring them into this model and find out whether I can go up and then divide them, one left, one right, or whether the stairs, I suspect that the stairs will really need to just go straight up. And then I'm going to have a viewing gallery around the stairs with a banister just to get, again, to give it that little bit of authenticity. So yeah, join me for that stream. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. I think it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.